And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. Just me again, Wes Tankersley. And I'm here. And Monday was a rough one. That's all I have to say. Monday was a rough one. Before we get into kind of what I was thinking about this morning, which is kind of what this is. If you were joining us for the first time for morning coffee, I sit down and have a cup of coffee at 5 o'clock every morning. A Superman cup right here. That's what we're using today. And just kind of chat about what's going on. And we got Nikki in the house over on YouTube. If you want to join the YouTube, go over to Shaping Success with Wes Tankersley and check it out. If you want to catch these, if you want to get a shout out every day, this is a new thing that I'm going to do. Subscribe somewhere. I have now a couple subscribers over on TikTok, which thanks to Nikki Pab, who has been a longtime subscriber. I was just looking at it, 414 days. So that's over a year. And very big, integral part for the Shaping Success podcast, because she does a lot of things for me in the background. And I just want to thank you, Nikki, because I feel like sometimes I don't thank you enough. And without you, I wouldn't be able to run all my YouTube shorts because I just don't have time for it. I also need to get back to posting some of those on TikTok, which is important as well. But at the end of the show from here on out, we'll start doing a shout out to the subscribers on TikTok, on YouTube, wherever they are. They are few, but soon to be many. So that's where we're going to go, right? We're going to get more. It's going to grow. We're going to get more people here because we've been doing this live show for, man, what's it been now? 26 episodes, I think, is what I put in yesterday on yesterday's episode. But Monday, let's talk about Monday a little bit. Okay, so Monday was kind of a funny day yesterday for me. It was interesting. Last night, my daughter woke up at about, 3 o'clock in the morning. We have a little small dog. He's a Morkie. He's half Maltese, half Yorkie. He's probably 7 pounds. And he woke up in the morning, and he decided that he was going to throw up on the carpet, which happens from time to time. He wakes up, and he does those types of things. And, this time it was some brown stuff. And we're like, oh, great, this is stupid. Well, for those of you who know that I barbecue quite a bit, and I have multiple barbecues. And one of my pellet grills needed cleaning. It was acting up. I used it for the Thanksgiving turkey and for some ribs, and I hadn't cleaned out the hopper. And for those of you who don't have pellet grill, the hopper is like the backside of it. You dump the pellets in there. It has a little auger. It feeds the pellets into this little pot, lights them on fire, and that's how you get that. So that's how that works. And so anyway, what happened is that thing started smoking out of the hopper, and I haven't cleaned out the hopper in a very long time because I don't typically do that because you have to take all the pellets out of it. So usually you do that when the hopper is empty before you add pellets. And I don't think about that until I'm running out of pellets, and usually there's a fire going. You got to add pellets to it. So, plus my Rectech, my RT700 has like a 50-pound hopper, so it'll take a big bag of pellets in there and it'll cook forever. But anyway, took the whole thing apart like I normally do, cleaned out the pot, which is this little bowl where the pellets drop into, like I was saying. And then I sucked all the pellets out. I cleaned out my shop vac, sucked all the pellets out of the hopper, and then continued to vacuum out the auger area, which this dust gets in there, collects, and that can ignite in the auger and cause some issues. So that's kind of what happened. Well, I went over and I cleaned the whole thing out. I scraped off the thing. I live out on 3 acres, and I thought, I'm just going to go scrape this grease that's on this pad that sits on top of it that, it's kind of like the grease tray or whatever, and it drippings or whatever. So I take them over there and I scrape them off and just whatever. It's out on the side of the house, like way out on the edge of my property. No big deal. Dog disappears. He decided to get into that. So it's grease, right? And so he eats it yesterday sometime, and then in the middle of the night decides he's going to throw up on the carpet. And I don't know if you've ever tried to get grease out of a carpet, but it pretty much ruined the carpet. We got the majority of it out, but you can still see it. And we're just trying to decide how we're going to do it. We might have to have someone come in and professionally clean it. But I got to get the kids to daycare, school, drop them off at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And so I have an appointment at 10 o'clock in Emmett, which is about 45 minutes away. Jump in the truck, drop the kids off, run to the grocery store, try and get some stuff, some additional things that I'm thinking, this will get this grease out. This will get this grease out. This will get this grease out. Like I'm going to try all these different things to get it out. And so I go get that stuff, and like I'm in kind of a little bit in a hurry. I've got a couple things that I have to do. I got a couple quotes I got to make. Plus, I got to drive 45 minutes to this appointment. I thought, you know what? I'll leave when I got a half an hour. I'll go find a place to park in the town that I'm in because I don't like being late. I'll make these quotes, and we'll be good to go. So drive around the one place that I normally go because as I work, I sell window covering, so I'm in subdivisions all the time, and you kind of know where places are to park. So I go into this one subdivision I think I'm going to go into. All the houses have been built in there. There's nowhere to park. So on to the next place. And I knew that there was a place on the side of the road past my appointment that I could just go park, kind of like a turnout, sit there, do my work. So I start looking through it. I get a text message, hey, can you take a picture of the sample or whatever and send it to me? So I get out of my truck, walk around to the other side, close the door with my keys in the ignition and the door locks itself. Well, earlier in the morning, I had gotten a notification that flashed across my dash service battery. So this is the only thing that I can figure out. I have not locked my keys in a vehicle in a very long time. It's pretty impossible because it won't lock when the keys are in there usually if you close the door. And I know this because I do it all the time, and I have not locked the keys in my truck. Like I leave it running, I get out, I go do things, I get back in. So I'm stuck on the side of the road trying to figure out how, because my phone is now locked inside the truck and the truck is running, how I'm going to get out of this situation. I have no phone. I'm on the side of the road, kind of out on a country road in the middle of nowhere. I'm a half a mile away from my appointment. So I could just walk to my appointment, but I get to my appointment. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do because, I'm going to ask the lady to use my phone. Then I'm going to have to call my wife, and she's going to have to bring me my spare key, which I was thinking about this yesterday. So when I was growing up, you could put a hide a key somewhere, right? And you could just put it underneath there. Well, now you got a key fob and you got a hide a key. And to get an extra key, just a blank key, they're these like chip keys or coded keys. They're not the same as like a house key is now. You have to have this special key. And to get that special key, it costs a lot of money. So I don't have one, and it probably costs I haven't checked into it, but I know that a lot of times those keys cost like $300 because they have to be coded to your vehicle in a newer vehicle. And so anyway, I realized that I have a tool that I could use to be able to get in contact with someone, but I have an Apple Watch. I'm not wearing it right now, but I have one. Thank God I had it because I was able to make phone calls from my watch, from my phone, because it's not the next one I buy is going to have a phone plan, because now I understand why I would need a phone plan if I ever got locked out of my truck. But I was able to make the phone calls, but there's something goofy in the settings. I was a little frantic because it was locked out and I didn't have time to figure it out on the watch, and you can go into the app on your phone and adjust things. But it wasn't coming through the watch. It was coming through the phone in the cab and the Bluetooth or whatever from my phone. So I'm standing on the side of the road with my hands on the window, calling people, trying to get things situated. So luckily my account coordinator called the customer, told her what was going on. She came and picked me up. I was able to call my wife, tell her she has my calendar to go and look and see where she could get me in there, or to just follow the appointment, hit the GPS, go get there. So she brought me the keys. The customer was very nice, came and picked me up. Luckily, I'd sold her something before, and she was just adding the same thing. So I was able to use her tape measure the window, get the cell, walk out with a check. So that happened. My wife showed up. She took me to go get my keys. And so So I went throughout my day, ended up going to go get the battery tested, need a new battery. And I started thinking about this, okay? So I tell you this big old long story so that you can kind of hear that, but then understand where I was coming from. I told myself, like, I could have freaked out, and I did freak out for a moment. I'm like, how did I do this? How did I lock myself out of this? You know, and I can only think that it's something to do with the battery shorting out or something, because I've never done it before. But I will tell you this, I will never get out of my truck with it running without rolling the window down, because I am not locking myself out of that damn truck again. But the battery was bad. I got it replaced, and I kept telling myself, so like the first couple minutes I was pretty frantic about it, and then after that, I started thinking, what do I have? What can I do? How can I make this work? Okay. And I was able to make that call from my phone, and I got things figured out. And I was just sitting there thinking, you know, and every time I say this, I knock on wood, because it couldn't get any worse than this. I was at one point talking on the phone to my account coordinator going, you know, all I can do is laugh about this. This is hilarious. I cannot believe that this happened. And I could have let it ruin my day, and I could have freaked out about it. And yesterday was a pretty long day because I had all that stuff going on. And then in the evening, I had a meeting with a friend to talk about something else. And so like I got home at like 8 o'clock at night. So it's pretty much 8 to 8, not at home. Kind of a long day. But what I was thinking was, there are people out there who probably have it a lot worse than this. You could be locked out of your car. You could be, there's much worse things that could happen to me than that. And that's why I was saying, like, it can't get any worse than that. And I laughed about it. You know, a few years ago, I wouldn't have laughed about it. I just would have freaked out, would have ruined my day. But I was listening to music this weekend, and, you know, I kind of relate music to my life and how that relates to me and all those things. And we do the Motivational Music Hour, which we're doing this week, every Wednesday. Nikki and I do. And this was one of the songs that I was thinking about. Gosh, why can't I remember what it's called? It's an Adelita's Way song. I think it's called Somebody Wishes They Were You, or Somebody. But here's the line from it, okay? And if you look at your life and you think about who you are, and you think about some of the things that you're going through, and you kind of repeat this, it kind of puts some things into perspective, okay? It says, life ain't that bad. Look what you have. Yeah. That's part of it. When the highs aren't so high, just do what you can do, right? So figure it out. A world you can change, and a life you choose. Because somewhere out there, somebody wishes they were you. Okay? Not in the general sense that somebody wishes that they were you, but somebody wishes that their situation was better than what they had and would be just fine with your situation. It would be okay with your situation. Their situation is so different than yours that they wish it was different. Okay? So I'm listening to that song this weekend, and I'm just going, you know, like, this is rough, this is annoying, but guess what? It's not that bad. Like, me having an issue and having anxiety over going through some boxes and having to get rid of things, because I've talked about that before. You don't have a lot. Like, this is a constant reminder to me, because like every time I turn around, I relate things to it's one of those things. I look at the situation and kind of go, this is how it is. You know, like my parents got in the situation that they're in. I get in the situation that I am with, like having stuff, right? Like stuff. People collect stuff because you spend a lot of money on it, right? You go and you get something and you're like, I can't let that go. I've got this Superman bobblehead sitting on my desk that, like, I could go and say, you know, I don't need that anymore, but I can't let it go because it means something to me, because I paid for it, because it's something that is important to me. And then you start collecting all this stuff, and I'm going through these 5 bins of stuff that's supposed to go in this studio. And I'm going, man, there's so much stuff here. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to hang all this stuff up. And I just got overwhelmed, and I'm listening to that song, and I'm just like, you know what? There's a lot of people who don't have this stuff, right? They don't have these things, and it could be much worse, and I just need to suck it up and get through this crap. And that's what helps me to, get through the day. And I know that there's a lot of people who are like, oh, well, it was you, whatever, no big deal. But those are those people, right? Like they don't have those things. They don't feel like you do. And they may wish that they are you. So even though the day was rough yesterday, there was a way to get through it. There was things that I could overcome, and I got through them, and I'm fine, right? I'm sitting here right now talking to you. And that's why I do it, because I know that no matter what, like I've got 2 people on a TikTok live. I've got 2 people in here. I've got 8 people that listened to the episode yesterday, so far, because what happens is typically they'll listen to an episode like this and then they'll go back and they'll listen to yesterday's or the day before. But that's the way that it works. That's how life is. We have to understand that it may not be great today, but it could be better tomorrow. Going back to yesterday, like you never know, the quote from yesterday, never lose hope. Tomorrow could be the day you have been waiting for. Like it could happen today. I mean, simple as it is, it's like, oh, you're always complaining when someone wins the lottery, but did you play the lottery? I mean, you're complaining about who's in political office, but did you vote? Like what are you doing to make that situation better for yourself? So take that and think about it as you go throughout your day. Okay, think about how it could be worse. It definitely could be. And we sit there and we camp on those things that are not that important and think about what other people say. Like I'm sitting here looking, and there's some people in the TikTok running comments about here, and I'm just sitting there going, whatever. I see them, but they don't affect me the same way that they used to. They don't know me. They don't know who I am. And they don't know what I'm talking about, and they don't have a vested interest in me like the people that are here every single day. So with that being said, that's what I got for you today. I want you to know, again, I'm gonna say this again. Someone out there, someone wishes they were you. So when you're thinking about your situation and how bad things may be, they're probably not as bad as you really think they are. And don't let that bother you. Don't let that get in your head. Okay. I'm not saying that they're not bad and, there's not tough situations, but you're resilient and you can get through it. Okay. With that being said, I want to say thank you to our subscribers on TikTok. Thank you to our Patreons. Nikki is a Patreon and also a subscriber on TikTok. Really appreciate that. She also helps and is an integral part of Shaping Success. She's part of the team, helps write all the descriptions and those things, and gets them posted for me. I want to thank Vanna Woods. She is a new subscriber as of yesterday, so we have 2 subscribers in the Patreon. If you want to join the Patreon, go to westankersley.com. You can pull that up, and you can go join the Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You can subscribe here on TikTok if you want and catch up, get shout outs and things like that. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do because there needs to be a point in time where I hit these subscribers with some stuff. And Vanna's a new one, but over some time, if you have subscribed to it in some way or form, I'm going to start sending out some merch or something like that. Maybe a shirt over time. Hal, thanks for joining us over on TikTok. I definitely have stickers. I need to order some new stickers, maybe some new coasters or something like that, because I feel like Nikki has everything that I have because I've sent her things over the years. So I don't have anything new to send you, Nikki. But we got to get that going. But until next time, we'll see you tomorrow for morning coffee. We'll also see you tomorrow for the Motivational Music Hour. We do that in the afternoon. So we'll have a live in the morning on TikTok, live in the afternoon as well on TikTok for the Motivational Music Hour, which is really fun. Nikki and I do that. And it is super fun because we each pick 4 songs, we hang out, and we talk about those songs and how they motivate us and how they build us up and those types of things. So come hang out with us tomorrow if you don't catch morning coffee. And that is it. Until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.